Article 7, Section 15 of the Constitution states that all persons are equal before the law and are entitled to equal and effective protection of the law and shall not be discriminated against on the grounds of race, sex, language, religion, politics, or other status. In addition, Article 9, Section 22 of the Constitution also states the state shall endeavor to provide security in the event of sickness and disability or lack of adequate means of livelihood for reasons beyond one's control. Kuzuzampula, I am Choni Selden and you're watching Parentology. Today we talk to three parents who have come together because of their struggle as parents, and particularly as parents to children living with disability. And together, they created a place of comfort, hope, and change. They are the co-founders of one of its kind support group for parents known as Phensem Parent Support Group Bhutan. Let me also congratulate them before I introduce them for finally being registered as a public benefit organization. We have Karma here on to my left, and we have Prashanti in the middle, and we have Chimi in the end. We will hear about the struggles, the challenges they faced, but before that, let's find out what is Phensem.
Thank you, La. Thank you for the opportunity. We're very happy as co-founders of Phensem to be here today in your program, La, and share our story and our journey. Phensem, the word itself, as everybody knows, in Dzongkha means mind or a thought to help someone. So if you take it in a word, we also believe that Phensem should mean a positive attitude and feeling towards helping others, especially our parents and families out there who are struggling with children living with disabilities. So that we can come together and work together as a team with all relevant stakeholders and hopefully making our country an inclusive society.
Yes. Let's find out about the background of Penzimla. How did Phensem happen?
Phensem started before 2017. It started as a friendship. We met because of our kids, and then we instantly connected. And you know, because for parents of children with disabilities, the parenthood becomes incredibly lonely, and you cannot connect with regular parents. And so when we met, like, you know, we instantly connected, and then we were sharing ideas and things we had read up or, you know, learned from therapists or whatever. And then we, not just that, we were also like using each other to share our frustrations, venting out, and you know, and so then we realized that when we could draw so much support from each other, what about the rest of the mothers out there, you know? The fathers might complain, so I'll say the fathers as well. There are a few very passionate fathers in our group, and that was when we realized that it would be good to like kind of have a group. And then Karma got this opportunity more to visit a very strong parent support group in the Philippines. And she came back and she was like, guys, we can really do this. We can take it a step further. And then we got a few other parents together, and then we started informally.
Now that we've established what Phensem is, what does it do?
Right now we are doing awareness and advocacy to parents.
Yes.
And then schools where the kids are enrolled, the special need kids. So we have at the moment the 2 private schools. We have Changankai school parents and 2 private school and ECCDs.
Once we started doing actual, we started getting together, we started forming ourselves. We then focused on 4 main areas that we particularly currently we are having challenges with, and we thought under these 4 program areas we can cover many of our activities. So just to name, one is of course what Chimi said, awareness and advocacy.
Okay.
And awareness and advocacy is, we realize that most of the time we focus awareness and advocacy to other people, like to the communities, to the other stakeholders. But most of us, we fail to realize that awareness and advocacy actually starts from home. So that's why we focus primarily on awareness and advocacy for parents and families. Then we realize that while connecting to them, the best way would be through schools and ECCDs. So we try to connect through our another program, that is parental involvement in inclusion and development. We've kept it broad. That is a reason behind. That is basically we want to address and see what other gaps are there in the support system, the services that are provided. Where we as parents can address those gaps and come up with those issues, or we can put it in front, we can table it out, so that the stakeholders or the general public are aware of what are the issues, especially with children with disabilities are facing with. Our focus is actually to help these new schools. So there's 2 pilot schools, we are focusing on that, and we have other ECCDs that we work with, giving them capacity and professional training of the teachers, and also helping in making the school inclusive, in terms of how they can best go with what is existing in their infrastructure in simple ways. When people talk about inclusive, they think you need a whole new structure, a lot of investment, but it doesn't have to be like that. You can do with something, you can start off with something which is doable. So things like that, and some of the schools don't have the idea. So we bring in experts, or through our own experiences we share, so that the school build those doable, inclusive adaptations in their school, which will go a long way in helping our children. So that is one that we are working with. And the third one, which is very important for our parents, is peer counseling and self-care. A lot of our parents and families, people don't realize is what type of anxiety and stress they go through if they have a child or a person living with disabilities. So we have programs and activities to help focus primarily for our parents and families, for their self-care and for their counseling and peer-to-peer support. Now, counseling doesn't mean we are giving them professional counseling, because we don't have the expertise. What we do is we bring in experts in their free times. So we basically facilitate in connecting the parents and families to the relevant support services. And the last one is, of course, one cannot do this alone. We need to team up and partner, collaboration with relevant stakeholders and institutions.
There are some, or maybe few, I'm thinking few hopefully, who believe that or who think it is maybe wise to have a separate ECCD for children living with disability. What do you say to that? Why do
it is not inclusion, then that becomes exclusion. And if ECCD going children are very, very young, and if they are raised with the mindset that children who are different have to be put aside differently, then they're going to grow up into an adult society who's going to think similarly. I mean, it's evident that when you mix up everybody together, then the overall development of everybody is enhanced. Like Karma just mentioned, education is like the basic right. That's there in our constitution. But even otherwise, I mean, education is a social equalizer. That is one area where we can include everybody to what extent we can. And that's how we started this pilot project with the 2 schools, and now we have 5 ECCDs who are coming on board.
During my son time, I wanted to send him to daycare and school. He went to school at the age of 8, but I wanted to start him from age 3 or 4 because he's very smart. And because he couldn't fit in ECCD because they are like, we don't have a special ed teacher, or we don't have any facility to take care of him. And even in schools, some of the private schools, I talked to. So that's why now, as a parent support group, we want to now bring in more schools.
I think what Chimi rightly said is, I think many of the viewers who are watching this program might think, why did we select only 2 and why only Little Dragon and why only ELC? I think she did touch upon this. When we went around asking a few of the schools, some schools very openly said that right now they are not ready. They don't think that they can commit to this type of obligations. So we were okay. So, but these 2 schools, starting from the proprietor themselves, were very passionate and very understanding, and very committed to such kind of inclusive project, because they were already doing in small scale in their school themselves. I think Phensem came on the right time to join hands with them. So that's how we took up this pilot project. I think Chimi, Prashanti and myself, we struggled when our kids were put to schools. There were not enough schools. Changanka, there's only one identified SEN school, and if we all parents gather there, the school cannot take that. So all schools, if they share the burden equally, then the quality of services, the support services, the choices for our children will also increase. Yes, so Ani Benedigi, our hope is that. So we started with that project with the hope that future it will be a much better scenario for our children.
And you will be collaborating, especially if the schools are interested, both private and government in the future. Disability doesn't differentiate between race, class, gender. So although you've just started with 2 private schools, I really hope that it reaches not only in Thimphu and just expands, and especially in the remote areas, because there's a survey that was done in 2017, the population and housing census of Bhutan, that determined that 2.1% of the population, or to be the number, it's 15,567 persons are disabled. Of that, 12,512 or 2.8% lived in rural part of the country across all Dzongkhaks. So I really hope and pray that it expands and it just doesn't stay to those 2 private schools. I want to talk about the focus on parents. Because this is a group that has realized the importance of giving the attention to the parents, because a lot of the other organization focuses on the children or on the person with the disability, but Phensem is a parent support group, and they have realized the importance of giving the focus on the parent, the mother and the father and the family that takes care of the children. And I want to know why.
If there's a problem, you fix the environment, so you don't, like everybody's into gardening these days. So if your flower looks droopy, like you don't tend to the flower, but to fix the soil and the nutrition and the humidity and the moisture, whatever. So similarly for us, like I mentioned in the beginning, parenting for a family who has a child with a disability is a very difficult and a lonely journey. And it's very overwhelming. There's so much to do. And if you are stressed and if you don't know what to do, then eventually it's the child who's going to suffer and not get the right interventions or the attention. And it is, so the parent needs to be not just calm and relaxed and not be overwhelmed, but also know what to do.
Confident,
like, confident, yes. And for example, I mean, just like we all of us live in Thimphu, and when my son was diagnosed, we used to take him once a week to the JDW hospital in Thimphu, to the physiotherapy department, where he would get his therapy done. Now, those people are like simply overwhelmed. There are like, what, 2, 3 of them in that room, and you have people with babies coming in and out, and they're giving like 45 minutes after 45 minutes after 45 minutes. And what the parents, a lot of parents actually seem to think that the 45 minutes once a week is enough for your child. It is not. But so what we are saying is, now you have to, as a parent, you have to know what to do. So you go home, you are with your child 24/7, and you follow a routine that is beneficial for your child and for you, and then you will see things happening.
The main work starts at home, and your consistency is required.
Yeah.
So most parents don't realize this, even with schools. So that's why when we work with partner schools, we are not just working with schools only. What we are doing is, our way of working is, we're involving the parents of those children who are studying in those schools but who have challenges, children living with disabilities. Those parents and families, we are involving them with the school program, so that they understand what their children are learning, they understand what the challenges the schools are facing, and there is a communication between the school and the parents. Parental involvement is a must, especially when you have a child with a disability.
Yes, yes.
So that is what
They're
we
in the
try.
driver's seat. The
Yes.
parents,
Yes.
Yes, yes.
the teachers will change, the schools will change, but the parents, that's a constant.
The physiotherapy partner, most parents think actually expert men say, we are not expert, we don't know. But they have to learn from the physiotherapist in the hospital, or what they have to do in the house.
Yeah. If you're a member of Penzim, there are parents who share the same experience, so you can learn from, that's peer counseling, you can learn from the parents. Mula. Then if you go to the physiotherapist, you can learn from the physiotherapist.
Yes,
too.
yes,
So
everywhere,
basically, do
anyway.
not be complacent. Let's talk about the kinds of parents that are members of Penzimla.
So we have diverse parents who have children and persons living with diverse disabilities.
Yes, yes.
So somehow it's more to do with neurodevelopment disorders along Wala. It's called NDDs in short. So we have mostly parents of children who are in that category. But we have children who are with Down syndrome.
Yes.
We have children with cerebral palsy. We have children with autism. We have children with multiple disabilities. We have children with visual impairments. So basically, you name it.
Yes.
We have all diverse. And also, if you look at parents also, we have parents from different backgrounds. Some are educated, some are from socially little disadvantaged families, some are single parents, single mothers, single fathers. So we have a whole lot of mix.
But what about non-parents who are interested to become members, or parents who do not have children living with disability? Can they be members?
Right now, we are open to members when we say others. Others means in our category is those who do not have children with disability, but who would like to be part of Phensem.
Yes.
In a way, they feel that they support our cause, or they feel that they can contribute in some way, maybe through their professional background, or maybe through any of their fields. Maybe connecting us to some professionals, in any other matters. So we have a group of individuals or even parents, some there are, that they would like to contribute in that way, so they have become our members.
Yes, yes.
Right now, we have not thought about other parents beyond parents of children with disabilities that can actually come to our group, but we are open with that. If whatever capacity building that we give can also benefit them, we are open to that.
Yes.
Maybe in the future, who knows, in Pensem's as a what to call expansion project, we can look at that section of the parents as well.
Yes.
But right now, we started off with parents and families of children living with disabilities. So right now, we are focusing on that.
Yes. I'm still thinking about a parent who's watching this and wondering and not sure if she should be a part of Phensem, or she's not even sure if her child is the one with disability, what should she do?
I think now for the new mothers and all, there is from the hospital now they do have this what you call screening tests and all they do when they do suspect there is some issue. The other thing is also, I think now the hospitals do encourage the new parents to look at the child's development milestones.
Yes.
So if you see that the child is not developing as per the given milestones, if they have concerns, then they can always refer to hospital level. First and foremost is to get the proper diagnosis and medical attention first. And then if they feel that something is wrong and if the doctors advise them, they should do that. The other thing is also, if they are interested, they can always connect to us, and we can also connect them to the relevant support services that are available.
Yes.
Especially new parents, they go through a lot of mentally.
Yes, yes.
And also trying to grapple with the acceptance issue, and they still feel that no, that's not correct. It cannot be right. My child is perfectly normal. So that type of that half kind of a feeling, that. So when they have that type of issue, maybe they need someone, to just come and talk to. What can we do, or is this right? Now some of the young parents feel that now that's it, we cannot do anything. My life.
That's the end.
Our life has stopped, kind of thing. So this is where Phensem comes, and you can always visit us, talk to us. And then most of the parents, what they feel is when they connect to other parents, then they feel that they are not alone. There are other parents. So that will also help them emotionally.
And sometimes if it's just a gut feeling you
Yes,
have,
sometimes.
then we are always there. That's why we are there, so that you need somebody to talk to. Sometimes just talking helps. And the society that we live in is kind of, because it's a small society and we Bhutanese are not very open about sharing certain things.
Yes.
And you want to sometimes talk to a stranger who's been through something similar.
Exactly.
And that's the whole concept behind the come and meet us and the peer counseling. And
If you could explain why Phensem stresses so much on early intervention.
The early stages of a child, the brain till the age from 0 to 6 is very elastic, like they can really absorb, whatever intervention. If there's something wrong, you need to work with them. This is the best time you can work with them.
That's good to know.
Whatever progress they can make, that is the best phase you can work with them. They will listen, they will absorb. After that, yes, it's never too late. You can always do, but the results will be, a little slower.
Yes.
So if you have the patience, it's fine. But if you don't have that patience, it's better to start early on. So that is one. The other thing is, when you are in a denial, the major block is yourself. Because there are the support system, the service ready to help your child out. But if you are not accepting the fact, you are blocking those service providers or support systems to come and help your child.
the earlier the better. But what happens, as you delay, you start doing things a certain way. I'm talking about the child who's like now not a baby anymore, but you're like 6, 7, 8. You start to do things a certain way which are not going to help you later on. And if you start intervention late, then that process of unlearning what you have learned is again a big issue. And especially for like our children with physical issues, like the human body, the skeletal system is supposed to function in a certain way, and if your child has learned to just sit up and stand up in a different way, then long-term impact is going to be not very pleasant.
Yes,
And
yes.
then the child is small and there's like the
can
brains
manage.
are
Yes.
absorbing so much. You can manage. It just becomes so much easier.
Especially like physiotherapy case na bodo. When your child is like 11, 10, 11 years old and you have to lift your child.
Physically, memula big
Yes, it's more difficult.
Less.
Every parent need to accept the fact that the condition that our children have is a lifelong condition, and there is no cure, and there's no
Exactly.
miracle.
It's not a disease.
Yeah, it's not a
People-
disease.
A lot of people say that, my child is suffering from autism,
Yes.
my child is suffering from cerebral
Cerebral
palsy.
palsy. You're not
suffering
suffering.
from that. It's a part of you. It's
It's a
a part of your
condition.
identity. It's not a disease that someday somebody will get a vaccine and cure you.
So you have to accept that fact. But once you accept that fact, you just don't leave it there. Now your child has that condition. Now how do you improve the child so that the child, when they reach hopefully an adult, becomes a little more independent and progress them a lot so that they can do something for themselves.
What are the future plans of Penzimla?
Large percentage of children and persons with disabilities living in the rural areas. So our long-term dream plan is to be able to establish Phensem chapters in at least all the Dzongkhags, if not at the Gyog level. But like we are here, we are also full-time mothers and our children are going to need our support all the time for God knows how long. We want to equip the parents over there so that they can help themselves just like we are helping ourselves, each other in this group.
We have connected to parents who live in other Dzongkhags as well. So hopefully like this we have more individuals, parents and all joining us, so that those parents who are more capable, who are more active, they realize how Phensem works here, so that they can establish something similar and connect with us as Phensem chapters and establish themselves over there.
Like the Bhutanese, I think we are a very spoilt population. Like we have been looked after so much by the kings and now the government and all that. We're so dependent, and whenever we face a problem, we're always waiting for somebody to come
and help
us or take that problem up, offer a solution. And we're now, what we are saying is we have to take charge of our lives and our children's development. We participate fully, and then we can also whatever help we're getting, it will be so much more productive and so much more effective. There are certain problems that we can solve ourselves, but Phensem is not going to solve the problems for those parents. But what we will do, we will endeavor to empower you so that you can tackle those problems yourselves. And then the problems that are too large for us to solve at an individual level, that we'll jointly, we can put it up to people who can help us out. I just want to say to all the parents over there, we are all together in this journey.
And with that, we end the episode for today. I'll see you next week. Thank you for watching. Bye-bye.